Financial Fridays. So this week we're going to be talking about how much money should a family borrow for college. Is there such thing as borrowing too much money? Yes, there is. I know people who are paying upwards of $500 a month because of how much money they had to borrow. And I understand certain family situations require you to have to borrow a lot of money because you don't have money of your own to put into your college funds. But there's a smart way to go about it that's helpful for everyone in the end. So the loan game is a long game. It's a long haul. Once you get a loan, it can take anywhere from 10 to 25 years to pay off that loan. And that starts within 6 months after you getting out of college. So what all plays into this? Well, think of it this way. Just as many homeowners got burned in the housing crisis by taking out larger mortgages than they could afford. This was in 2008. This equals to the same thing as families who can get burned by borrowing amounts for college that seemed reasonable at the time, but in hindsight really aren't. So for student loans, what if the student after they graduate doesn't make the amount of money they thought they were going to make? I wanted to know how much of the graduating class was getting jobs that were less than they thought they were going to get. Because you go into college, you have the degree, you think you're going to have a job that pays $40K as soon as you get out. That's not always the case. So according to Burning Glass and the Strada Institute, they say 43% of recent college grads are underemployed, meaning they work a job that doesn't require a degree and also doesn't pay that entry-level kind of payment that we're all thinking. That's 43%, guys. That's almost 50% of college grads. That's a lot. And so what if the student doesn't make the earnings they thought they were going to make? How are they going to repay those payments back that we were talking about earlier for that 10 to 25 years? What if a student loans? What if the student loan is unmanageable because of rent, utilities, and or car expenses? All these things that are going to come into play in the next 10 years. When it comes to student loans and you have your 10-year payment, you have they say the best way to go about it is to take out $27,000, which is the federal student loan limit for your 4 years of college. That's the base level, they say. To stop there, because over a 10-year term with 5.05% interest rate, this equals a monthly payment of $287. It is manageable whether you have an underemployed job or an entry-level job. $287 is manageable. And then they say if a student borrows more by adding a co-signed private loan, which I know a lot of people who have private loans, the monthly payment will jump, for example, to $425 for $40,000 in loans, or to $638 for $60,000 in loans. Before borrowing any amount, students should know exactly what their monthly payment will be, though. And remember, only federal student loans offer income-based repayment or RBI offerings. So the whole basis of all this is to borrow as little as possible. I know that a lot of families want to borrow as much as possible so that not having to come straight out of their pocket, but there's other resources, and I feel like a lot of incoming college students don't utilize those resources to their max. So when it comes to scholarships, there are thousands upon thousands of scholarships. These are another option, a great resource. You have scholarships for pretty much anything, and yes, they are an essay, but you're getting a lot of money for writing this essay, so I think it's a fair trade-off. Another thing is a lot of schools offer federal work studies. This is where if you work a job for the school for a couple hours a week, you get money from the school for doing that. So I know that I did that, and it covered my books, which I needed because we all know books are expensive. So make sure you're looking into your other options to go on top of this entire topic of how much to borrow. So just to recap on what they said were the best options for borrowing. Go with the federal student loan limit, which is $27,000, because that'll come down to a 10-year term with a 5.05% interest rate, and it'll equal $287 a month. That's the kind of where you want to be at. That's the limit that you want to be at. So thank you guys again for listening. We hope to hear from you next week. Make sure to like and share the video. Bye, everyone.